What's up guys, I'm Phoenix Master 1 and welcome back for some more Fire Emblem Heroes. Today I'm going to be taking a look at the New Year banner featuring New Year Plumeria, Velouria, Duo Peony and also Kaden. I'll be analyzing these units and I'm going to be giving you guys a lot of builds, and at the end I'll also go over a summary of this banner because it's basically a double special banner essentially this time around. And if you're new here, then do consider subscribing. I do make a lot of banner reviews and free-to-play unit reviews, and I've already covered Year Kaden in a separate video, so you could check it out if you're interested. And with that said, let us begin.
Beautiful clothing, good food. This is what dreams should be.
New Year Plumeria is a bow flyer dancer. We don't really have a lot of bow flyers to begin with, and having a dancer in that class is definitely pretty unique. She's a colorless bow unit, so that is pretty good for nuking in general because she doesn't really have any kind of weapon strangle disadvantage except for the Raven Tomes. As for her stat spread, she has got insanely high attack. She's got the highest attack out of any archer in the game, I believe, and that allows her to nuke pretty hard with something like a Brave Bow. But her preferred weapon is First Dream Bow, which gives you +3 resistance, and it also grants +4 to allies within 3 spaces during the combat and inflicts -4 attack debuff on foe within 3 spaces during the combat. And this is a fantastic support weapon because it helps your allies a lot, and 3 space radius is really good for a skill. If you get more skills that can affect foes within 3 spaces, this would be a really good weapon along with those skills. This bow just gives your allies more attack and more bulk, which is really great. Her base kit is definitely pretty unique to say the least. She comes with Close Ward, which is a very niche skill which not a lot of units can use because it only allows you to counterattack back to dragons. Dragons do have adaptive damage, so this skill does have a null adaptive built into it, so it can disable the adaptive damage. So someone like Plumeria will still take hits on her resistance, which is really high. So this weapon is still really niche and not many units would require this. A lot of times you're good running close foil or close counter. The reason being is that dragons are not the biggest threats right now in the game. We have a lot of dragon effective weapons in general. She comes with quick riposte and attack defense range, which is really good. As for her build, she could be built as a budget dancer. All of the skills like guidance, aerobatics, wings of mercy are all good options on her, as you would expect on any kind of flying dancer. So you could have Iceberg as her special and have aerobatics as a teleportation skill on budget. You could also run double guard skills or just guard skills in general because this bow does help give her allies some bulk, so that can be really good. And you could also run ground orders as a slotsy skill. Something like this could be definitely useful if you want to use her in Ether Raid's defense, but in general, flying dancers having ground orders just helps their teammates so much with their movement. If you want to build her up for some more support, you could have Fortress Defense Res or just have Fortress Resistance in general on Slot A as well as Sacred Seal, and you could pretty much have Sabotage Attack. So Sabotage Attack debuff will stack up with the in-combat debuff of her preferred weapon, which is really good for debuffing your foe even more for some attack. And Sweet Dreams does have the attack debuff, but Sabotage Attack is going to be applied to so many of the foes even in the back line, so it could be pretty helpful with that. You could also use Brave Bow on her. She has really high attack stats, so no reason why she cannot do that, just as a budget Brashpiration build. You could also run her with Deathblow 4 and having Deathblow Sacred Seal. Attack defense range is pretty nice with this. You're not going to be quad attacking, so it doesn't really need setup like the Brashpiration build, and you could just function as a dancer or even nuke things when you want to. Fortune Bow Plus is also a pretty good weapon on her because of having really high resistance. Anna is also on those banners, so if you really like Plumeria and want to have some more support, you know what to do. Now the debuffs of Fortune Bow can be a bit redundant with Sweet Dreams debuffs, but keep in mind that Fortune Bow can also debuff multiple foes who might be far away from your units, even in the back line. So it could be a pretty decent weapon for support, but as it is, her preferred weapon is also pretty fantastic for support. Now, if you are a big Plumeria fan or you just happen to plus in Merger, then she could also run some really expensive builds with stuff like Sturdy Impact and having Deathblow. And Sturdy Impact can definitely patch up her really poor defense, and Deadeye is also an option because she's a bow unit. And you could also use Heavy Blade 4 at max investment to have the true damage and to trigger a 2-turn special like Moonbow, Glimmer or Ruptured Sky. These are some really high investment builds, but it's really interesting to see how a dancer who has got the highest attack for an archer can function with these nuking builds. You could even take off her dance skill honestly and use her with like 3 dancers because she can definitely be pretty powerful.
They say the first dream after the festival decides a person's luck for the whole next year.
New Year Peony is actually a duo unit along with Triandra, and this time around she is a green mage flyer. So she has got Bond of Alpha, and this gives her +3 speed and grants +6 attack to any ally in the cardinal directions of Peony during the combat. So this weapon description definitely takes me back to 2017 when we didn't used to have essays for the description of these weapons. So it's a pretty simple weapon, but it's really nice for supporting. So she pretty much trades the +3 speed from her normal version for having even more attack support. Her duo skill is pretty good. It's basically another Gentle Dream, but you need to be adjacent to the ally to do this. Now that can definitely be pretty restrictive many times, but honestly having another dance is really good, and you can even dance up a dancer using this. And keep in mind that you could use your duo skill even after you have moved your unit. So Peony moves in, dances someone, and she can use duo skill to dance up another ally who might be adjacent to her, or even that same ally who maybe comes back to her retreating, maybe with like a Gale Force build or maybe Kanto. So stuff like that is possible with Peony, and this is basically a better skill compared to Harmonic Tiki's harmonic skill. All of the duo units have dual skill built into their effect. So her dual skill lets her act as a 190 BST unit in arena and similar modes. So she is one of the highest scoring units in the entire game, and Peony is just gonna be a very big annoyance for so many people in arena and arena assault, because Gentle Dream gives the orders buff to the allies, and it just makes it very hard to predict their movement because they will just teleport everywhere. So Peony is gonna be one big nightmare to fight, no pun intended. And because being a duo unit, she can be blessed, so she could be used in any season, and that means she also has utility in Aether Raid's defense, where she could activate the duo hindrance structure. So being a duo unit does a lot of things for Peony. Her stats don't really matter too much, but still they are pretty decent. She has got pretty high speed, and she does have respectable attack stat. It's not really too high, which is good because usually ranged dancers who have got high attack are prone to getting baited out when they are in the hands of AI. Her base kit is pretty nice, giving her more offenses with attack speed bond 4, and joint drive attack can help her and the allies as well, so she can give more attack support to her allies. So Duo Peony, in my opinion, is a fantastic unit and just a very good dancer. The duo skill might seem a bit restrictive, but trust me, it does have applications and it can be really useful along with some other duo skills. We do have some duo skills who have the dance effect, like Ninja Lin, we have Duo Sigurd, and we also have Harmonic Tiki. So all of these duo units with their duo skills can be very powerful with a strong nuke. And in many cases, like Ninja Lin, she herself is a very strong nuke. Peony's builds are straightforward. Being a dancer, of course you want to run Wings of Mercy on her slot B. Res Cantrip doesn't really compare to the utility of Wings of Mercy, and it's by far the best slot B skill for any kind of dancer. Aerobatics also provides you with some nice movement. Moonbow is basically going to be the special that you can use, and if you don't really like Bond skill, you could also run Fury, and Drive Attack Sacred Seal can basically let you have even more attack support for your allies. The third build, you could run her as an Aether Raid's defense unit for enabling duo hindrance, and because she can be blessed, you can use her as a defense unit, which is really good because Gentle Dream is such a powerful tool. As I said, it just makes it so annoying to face the enemies because they all have such great movement option after that. And you might wonder why I have got ground orders on her slot C when Gentle Dream basically does that. The reason being is that isolation is a thing in Aether Raid's offense. Mila, Fjorm can isolate her, so even if she's isolated, she can at least provide ground orders to those allies so that they can still be annoying to the opponent. For having the orders buff from Gentle Dream, you need her to dance first, but ground orders can basically give the orders buff on start of the turn, which can be helpful in setting up rally traps and stuff like that. You want to reduce her attack with Fortress Defense or Fortress Resistance because she's a ranged dancer. It's gonna be easy to bait her out if she's got more attack stat. If a dancer does 5 or more damage, they will choose to attack over dancing, so that's why you want to reduce her attack stat. And finally, for the whales or for the people who want to plus 10 merge her, she's gonna be a fantastic unit to be used in your arena core because she not only provides you with the utility of dance, but she also provides you the orders buff, which is so useful in arena because your units are going to be running rally skills and harsh command, so having those movement options are really good. You could use her as an offensive unit as well by having push skill and the speed res rain from Triandra herself. Otherwise, you could just use her as a support unit with like John Drive attack or some support skills, and Sturdy Impact can definitely be much more useful than Attack Speed Bond for a 300 SP slot A skill.
I know what the best part of your year will be, having me at your side.
Year Kaden has exchanged colors with Keaton, and he's a red beast this time around. So he's a cavalry red beast with having Refresh Fang as his weapon. So this is pretty similar to Year Keaton's weapon, except for the fact that this works on speed. So he gets +3 speed from this weapon, and at start of combat, if the foe's HP is above 75%, then he gets +5 speed during the combat and inflicts -5 speed debuff on the foe during the combat, essentially creating a 10-point stat differential between their speeds, which makes him insanely fast. And if he has got more speed than the foe, then he deals 70% of the difference between their speed stats. So this can go up to +7 true damage, which is really good. And then he has got the standard cavalry beast effect where he's not near a human, he can transform, and he gets +2 attack, and also has access to a mini sturdy impact of sorts, which can be really useful in the player phase. Kaden is actually a 4-star focus unit this time, so he's gonna be easier to plus and merge than the other 5-star locked units, and it's also easier to get him overall, so Kaden fans can try to plus and merge him. As for his stat spread, he has got extremely high speed at 39, and he does have pretty nice base attack at 35. His bulk is workable, he does have a super boon in his defense, but usually you're going to be opting for either plus speed IV or plus attack IV. His base kit isn't really all that impressive, he does have attack defense snag at 4-star, but snag skills, I'm not really the biggest fan of them because they are pretty much outclassed by the ruse skills who are just superior with more range and also give you the guard effect. So not the biggest fan of snag skills in general, and I think there are better slot B options just for support or even for combat. So overall, Kaden is a very solid 4-star focus unit on this banner because of his high speed and the fact that he could easily get the true damage. Now, being a physical red cavalier, you cannot escape the comparison to Eliwood. Now, even though Kaden is a beast unit and Eliwood is a sword cavalier, they both have the same class, they have the same color, they have access to the same skills, and they also just do the physical damage, so they can be compared to each other. And Eliwood is a similar free-to-play friendly +10 mergeable red cavalier. Both of these are pretty solid option when it comes to gale forcing, but I would have to give this to Eliwood when it comes to being easily available and having easy to use stuff like Blazing Durandal and not really caring about spacing, and also having easy special acceleration. So even though Eliwood is much slower than Kaden, I think that he does the gale force role a bit better. But still, Kaden is a very solid unit. For Kaden's builds on budget, Fury Desperation is basically your best bet, and Attack Speed Solo is a new Sacred Seal that we're going to be getting from the Tempest Trial for New Year's, so it's a fantastic option on a cavalry unit like him. Raw Speed Defense from Ferdinand is also a pretty nice self-buffing option that you could run on him, and if you do decide to plus and merge him, then here are some high investment builds. He could definitely rock Double So Sparrow with having lull speed defense, and Glimmer could be a pretty powerful special with the true damage that he's getting, and also by debuffing the defense of the foe with his Refresh Fang as well as the lull skill. You could also run him with double attack speed solo, which can make him blazing fast and also give him really nice damage output. And for the IVs at max investment, plus attack and plus speed are both really good, though I do prefer plus speed IV in general because if you do decide to use him as a gale force unit, having more speed is always good in my opinion because he could get the true damage against even the fastest units in the game, and he can also gale force against those really fast units, and speed creep is a thing in FEH. We are probably going to be getting even faster units, so just, you know, future proofing your unit with a max investment build with plus speed IV is really nice thing. But plus attack IV can also be opted if you feel like he just has too much speed, especially for like a double solo build if you're going for that. So it could help you with that, and plus attack IV can also help you with heavy blade, but I just personally prefer plus speed IV. You could also run him with attack speed push for having lull attack speed and running the standard heavy blade gale force build. So the attack debuff from lull attack speed and his weapon can definitely help him trigger heavy blade. You could also use him in Ether Raid's defense similar to how you would use Eliwood, but he will require Sacred Seal in heavy blade, and he will need to make sure that he can meet the speed check on the opponent, which can be hard at times because opponents can just stack up so much attack. So having some kind of attack debuff like sabotage attack or maybe Chill Attack or Bright Shine can definitely help him trigger Gale Force against those targets, survive, and then lunge into the backline of the team and act as a Wings of Mercy anchor who is extremely fast and very hard to double for the enemy.
Everybody's taking a break for New Year's. I can play with anybody today.
Year Velouria has exchanged colors with Selkie, so this time she is a Blue Beast infantry unit. She's got Renewed Fang as her weapon, which is a pretty nice weapon. So this accelerates her special trigger by -1, and if she's within 2 spaces of a support partner, then she inflicts -6 attack and speed debuff on the foe during the combat, and gets +1 special cooldown charge per attack during the combat. And this works in both phases actually, so this is really good. She doesn't really have to run Heavy Blade, Flashing Blade, or any of the breath skills. She just has this in her weapon, which is fantastic. And she can also grant this breath effect to the support partner if they're within 2 spaces of her. And this is really fantastic because she essentially has Joint Drive Breath, which not only helps her spam specials, but also helps her support partner spam the specials. Now this does open some room for support utility because Brave Lucina also has pretty much the same weapon. She has got Drive Breath into her weapon. Velouria's Joint Drive Breath can function in both phases. And Brave Lucina's Weapon Refine is going to be active for any kind of ally within 2 spaces, but Velouria is a bit more restricted, only for the support partner. On the other hand, Brave Lucina's Weapon Refine only gives those buffs and the support if the ally is a physical unit. So Velouria can support mages and dragons, which is pretty fantastic and does open up some nice support options for those units. So overall, Brave Lucina is still gonna be a better support unit because she could give the extra stats from her Weapon Refine to the allies. But Velouria can be a pretty fantastic option if you want to use her with a mage or a dragon for spamming those specials. So Velouria can function that way. And because of the -1 special cooldown and the special acceleration that she gets from her weapon, it's really good with the secondary condition which comes with any kind of infantry beast, which is the fact that if she's not near a human, she can transform and she gets +2 attack and deals +10 true damage when the special triggers. So this weapon is pretty synergetic with the special shenanigans, and it can also help support a support partner who can be a mage or a dragon even. She does have pretty good offensive stat spread by having 39 base attack and 38 speed with having a speed super boon, and her defense is also pretty high at base 37 and workable resistance at 26. So she can definitely make use of distant counter because she can inflict the -6 attack debuff on the foe, effectively giving her like 32 resistance if she's within 2 spaces of a support partner, and null follow up is also a pretty nice thing for a fast unit like her. But because she's a beast unit, unfortunately she cannot have access to the damage reduction skills, which she would have made fantastic use of because of having a speed super boon and having a weapon that can debuff the speed of the opponent. But still, she can function as a tank or even as a player phase unit, so she can definitely be pretty versatile in what she can provide to your team and the support partner. Velouria has a pretty fantastic base kit, so all you could do is just slap Attack Smoke and have something like Swift Stance as a Sacred Seal. Alternatively, you could also have some fun with Wrath because she does get true damage from her weapon's secondary condition, so she can essentially get +20 true damage if you combine that with Wrath. And you could have Bonfire as her special, and running Attack Defense Solo Sacred Seal could definitely give you pretty high defense, so you could basically retaliate back with Bonfire that is also going to be having +20 damage, and that can be pretty devastating. Keep in mind that Wrath's threshold is also going to be active during the combat, so even if she's full health and if she takes a hit that puts her below 75% threshold of Wrath, she can still retaliate back with +10 true damage from Wrath. While she does need to be near the support partner, they can be within 2 spaces, so something like a solo skill can work out, but if you're not really comfortable with that, then a stance skill can also be a pretty good option. She could also be used as a budget Gale Force unit because of the special acceleration on her weapon and the fact that she makes Gale Force a 4-turn special. She can definitely function with Fury and Desperation and be a pretty decent Gale Force unit. It's just that she needs to be within 2 spaces of the support partner. You could also stack up the attack and speed debuff from her weapon along with lull attack speed for having total of -9 attack and speed debuff on the foe. And Joint Drive skills are just a very good option, and even more so on Velouria because she could benefit from this as well as the support partner, so that's definitely an option. You could run Ether along with Special Spiral, and once your Special Spiral is set up, this can allow you to retaliate back with ethers, which is really good for the healing as well as the damage output. As I said, she can work with Gale Force teams, so this also applies to Aetherite's offense, where you might run Air Force team for the Gale Force strategy, and there Velouria can definitely function. Now she's not going to be able to reduce the special count of an ally like the normal version of Velouria can do, but still she can definitely help her allies have the breath effect to just have the one-tap Gale Force, and she can herself have one-tap Gale Force by having Time Pulse and Quicken Pulse. So she could be supported by someone like Air, and then she could teleport and get a one-tap Gale Force, which is really effective for Aetherite's offense. She could also be used as a support unit. You could use this in Aetherite's defense, but in general she can work as a support unit. So on budget you could just run a Link skill along with some Drive, Sacred Seal and Slot C options. In Aetherite's defense, even Pulse tie can definitely help you quite a bit against Infantry Pulse teams and pre-charged specials, and she does have high enough HP to utilize that, so that's also an option. And finally, if you want to have some expensive option, you could go with the Ruse skill and a Dual Rally Plus skill. Life and Death can allow her to soak Bright Shrines easily, so that can definitely be a pretty good option for support. The newer banner this time around is a double Special Heroes banner, essentially having 6% focus rate, but unlike the usual double Special Heroes banner, it has 2% non-focus rate. So combining those two, you have overall 8% for 5-star units. This has been a pretty divisive change, and who knows if this is gonna set a precedence for all of the future seasonal banners that we might get next year. Mathematically speaking, color sharing does not reduce the chances of getting a certain unit. It is same as a traditional 3% banner, but you might get the color sharing unit instead, so it's not really recommended to snipe for a certain unit. Instead, pull on the colors that have all of the desired units there, similar to the thinking process which you have to use on a legendary or a mythic banner. This style of banner pretty much tries to offset the new pity rate changes they introduced recently, whose function was that your pity rate will not get fully reset if you pull an off-focus unit. However, on a double special banner like this, you might pull the other shared focus unit you didn't want, but because it is a focus unit, it will fully reset your pity rate. Color sharing banners can be a gamble, even though statistically, as I said, the chance of pulling your desired unit is same as the 3% banner, but you might just pull the other unit you didn't want because they also have their increased chances of showing up. Even though you're getting more 5-star focus units at the end of the day, you might not get the specific one which you were sniping. And I think that can be frustrating for most people. This is definitely enjoyed by people who want both of the focus units and don't really mind the fodder of the other unit, and you're basically sharing your pity rate of 2 banners into one, so it could be beneficial for those kinds of people. So you need to pick the colors to summon on where both of the units are of your desire, as sniping and aiming for specifically only one unit can definitely end up frustrating. Those are the two sides of the argument. Let me know what you think about the changes in the comments, and do you think this is going to be the norm for all of these seasonal banners going ahead? So I'll have a quick summary here with all of the newer units and which colors you might want to focus depending on their fodder and their usage. I'm going to be providing unit rating and fodder rating like I do for mythic and legendary banners. So first of all, we've got the red color. Kaden is a 4-star focus. Sadly, he doesn't have very good fodder. As I said, I don't think snack skills are that good, but still it can be an option I guess because he does have that at 4-star. Still not the most desirable fodder. As for newer Anna, she is a pretty decent unit, but she does face competition from a green and even pirate Bridget when it comes to being a red archer who are really offensive. Anna can however use her resistance to support you with the debuffs. She does have some pretty decent fodder like Fortune Bow Plus, Sabotage Attack, and also the dual rally skill along with attack speed gap. Blue color in my opinion is the best color on this banner because the fodder is just absolutely amazing. Velouria has got distant counter and null follow up which you can inherit at the same time, and duo Alfonse in my opinion is one of the best blue mages in the entire game. The dude has got the offensive power as well as the bulk, which makes him one of the rare mages who are really annoyingly bulky, and his duo skill is also really amazing. His fodder, not to mention, is also really great. You could inherit either Close Counter plus Special Spiral or the Oath skill. The green color is also pretty good. Peony is pretty nice with attack speed bond 3 and joint drive attack, which you could inherit at the same time. Attack speed bond 3 is not the best offensive option for slot 8 because it can be hard to position yourself in the player phase, and unity skills in my opinion are just better than bond skills, but still you get to inherit 2 tier 4 skills at the same time. Year Lethe has been pretty much outclassed by Freya, who just does that same job of being a green beast with the damage reduction weapon much better than Lethe, but still she is a decent option and she does have good fodder, but you could sadly inherit only one skill at a time, either the solo or the lull skill. Finally, we have the colorless pool. So the colorless pool has got distant and close ward, which are not really that desirable by most units, and they are overall a very niche option and not many people are going to be chasing after specifically them. Plumeria does have attack defense rain, which can be useful to maybe Ashnard users or just players who have high attack and high bulk units, so those kinds of units can benefit from attack defense rain. Year Selkie basically is a mage tank with her high resistance and high speed. She doesn't have the highest attack stat and has very poor defense, and her weapon is basically going to be allowing her to rely on her special like Iceberg for the damage output, and it also gives her true damage based on her resistance. So overall for me, she's not really that desirable unit and she turns out to be a bit awkward at times. Her fodder isn't really all that good. Distant ward again is not really required by many units. Distant counter is pretty much going to be the better option many of the times. Sabotage speed is definitely a support skill that you could inherit, and that's basically the most value that comes from her fodder. So hope you guys liked this comprehensive analysis of the New Year banner. As always, this banner is going to be lasting for an entire month, so do take your time, do not impulsively pull. So you could wait for the entire month and just scout for potential new banners that might interest you. Especially if you're a free-to-play player, summoning as soon as the banner comes out is not the best option when you could wait and scout, especially when the banner can last for a long time. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to share this video with your friends who are interested in summoning on this banner, and I want to thank all of my YouTube members for their constant support. And if you enjoyed, then please be sure to leave a like and a comment, helps me tremendously, and be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because YouTube sub boxes are about as universally useful as close ward. So with that said, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.